Let me just go ahead and start this loop and let this play for a second while a few more people join in. You can see that's quite a monster storm hitting the East Coast there. That's what I need to report on. And as you can see, stuff starts to accumulate again, and we get this monster that creeps right up the eastern seaboard. Goes right through New York, right up through Maine, and out of there. So you can see we got some wild weather still heading our way. Okay, and what's important about this is the event that happened today on the sun will be affecting the weather on the 10th. Okay, today was the 7th. We had that sigmoid come at our direction. All right, it was on the earth facing side of the sun. I was trying to show you that. It exploded right at us. Everybody else is saying, oh, there's nothing coming our way, but there's the sigmoid that erupted right in our face. All right, and it's due to get here on the 10th. All right, so this event going from the 9th to the 10th is it's already intense as it is, and there could possibly be some intensification of this because of the inbound energy coming from the sun. Okay, and if these storms already look that wild and you add energy to them, there's going to be some devastation and some loss of life. That's why this is important. I had to come and reboot my computer and come back to this because I don't think the world is the media. There's other weathermen out there that are talking about how important that event is going to be. All right, but not a lot of people are, and that's what I kind of want to go over tonight. So when it comes back around and we get to the beginning of the loop here, we'll start doing this little weather report. We got some other things to cover that we didn't get to cover in the first half of the show. Sorry, I had to go regain composure there and do some praying because I was losing my patience. I used to have ultimate patience. I don't know what's happening. It's like slipping away or something. Anyways, here's our opening frame. The nighttime of December 10th, or December 7th, sorry. We have this huge low that's pulling snow back up into Canada there. As we continue on into the morning of the 8th, you can see it riding right along the Canadian border there. We get into the new 8th, the end of convection, the nighttime. We get into the 9th, the noontime. Do you see how this is pulling together now? This backside's coming around and this is starting to come up. There's the noontime of the 9th, which we have inbound energy on that day, I think, as well. Then we have this event right here starting to happen with severe weather, possibly in Indiana right there at the end of convection on the 9th. Then as we go into the nighttime, this is going to be a nocturnal event, it looks like, all right? And that's what's so dangerous about these is people are already asleep. They didn't see any, thunderstorms throughout the day, it didn't pan out or whatever, so they go to bed and then they blossom. Now look at this map and you'll see we're talking all the way from Mississippi up through Tennessee, through Kentucky, up through Ohio, with heavy rains surrounding all that area, all right? And I believe the storm chasers are probably going to be out that night chasing right here, okay? Because this is the 10th and we have inbound energy on this day, all right? So I expect this. See, this is the nighttime of the 9th, all right? So right there, that event, as we go into the morning of the 10th, could intensify, all right? And that's still, Tennessee, Alabama, Kentucky, Ohio, all right? So going from the nighttime of the 9th into the morning of the 10th, that whole region right there, and it could shift a little north, a little south. It could slow down and be a little bit further behind, or it could speed up, be a little further ahead. But this region right there, be on high alert during the nighttime of the 10th, because then you go into that's the morning of the 10th right there. So the nighttime of the 10th into the morning hours is going to be severe weather, all right? Then as we go into the noontime, you see it kind of shift further east into Tennessee. Heavy rains all through here. Possible severe weather down by Florida, too. Okay, then as we get to the end of convection here, you see, let me zoom in on this one for you. Okay, you can see the entire eastern seaboard is speckled with severe weather, all right? This is going to be a dangerous event on the backside of the Appalachian Mountains here, okay? So watch out through Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, all the way up through Pennsylvania there is going to be severe weather with this inbound energy that has the possibility of intensifying this, okay? As we go, it does this at the nighttime of December 10th, all right? Here again, let me zoom in to just this one more little bite so you guys can see the whole eastern seaboard in red and yellow, all right? Severe weather from what the little cape right here all the way up the eastern coast, all the way up through New England, reaching up into almost to Maine. All right, so right there, that's going to be at nighttime, and that's going to catch everybody off guard. The next morning, I bet you we're going to hear about devastation in some of these major cities along the eastern seaboard here. Okay? Not making a prediction or anything like that. It's just telling you, prepare to see some headlines that say severe weather took out this and took out this, and millions of people were out of power, heavy hail, high winds, flooding. This thing's just packing a wallop, all right? And it's going to hit a highly populated part of the region, this whole eastern seaboard there, the night of December 10th, when we have inbound energy coming in, all right? This is no joke. This is hella serious right here. I don't think everybody quite understands what the potential could possibly happen in this scenario right here. This is not good. All right, then as we kind of go forward a little bit, it just gets even wilder, all right? Some of it's moved offshore now, but there's some here up through New York, Long Island, watch out, New York City, Long Island, that whole region is just going to be under the gun. And that's the morning of December 11th, okay? So let me back up a few here. Boom, boom, boom. We went from the morning of the 10th, right there, with severe weather in the morning of the 10th, through the noon hours, through convection, into the nighttime, and then into the next morning. So that's just going to be gnarly. Then it kind of finally goes offshore. There's little remnants up here up through New England and Maine, even up into Canada a little bit there, as that big old low finally moves out. All right, that's no joke. Everybody needs to be seriously prepared for that storm, whether you're going to evacuate or what, or get your plan ready. Let me pull this down just a little bit more here so I can use more map. All right, you can see as we get into December 16th here, a bunch of flow coming up from the Gulf of Mexico up into the region here. Now this is going to cause another, what looks like just like a tropical depression coming up through Florida, up through Mississippi and Alabama. And watch as we progress from the morning of the 16th through the noon hours of the 16th. That's Alabama, Georgia, Florida, even back into Arkansas. The morning of the 17th. So this is the nighttime of the 16th, morning of the 17th. Then we go into the noontime. Into convection there. Nighttime, okay, into the morning hours, the noontime of December 18th. This is the end of convection, December 18th. Now, mind you, this area just got hit with a bunch of heavy rain and flash flooding and stuff from that last storm, and here we are just a few days later with another one. well, a week later with another one. That's the nighttime of the 18th, hitting at night again in New York City. Boom, up through New England into Maine by the noon time of the 19th. So let's back up and watch this monster grow from like right about here, starting the nighttime of the 15th. So starting the 16th, basically the morning of the 16th, this offshore flow comes onshore. So right about there, you don't be surprised between the morning of the 16th, the noontime, to see tornadoes coming or water spouts coming onshore. All right, here in Louisiana, the panhandle of Florida, the morning of the 16th. Then as we go into the end of convection, this is when the cloud tops usually get their highest. All right, that's Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida. The nighttime of the 16th, morning of the 17th, noon of the 17th, the end of convection or sundown the 17th, into the nighttime of the 17th, the morning of the 18th, noon, end of convection again, nighttime the 18th. All right, so this whole region right here is going to get a double whammy from that first storm, and then again about a week later on December 18th. There could be some traveling holiday time right there as we get closer to the holiday. Into the morning of the 19th, into the noontime of the 19th, into convection the 19th, and then finally moving out of Maine by the night of the 19th. All right, so that's quite two big events that we got going. We're just kind of going through here. This is the 22nd as these two air masses collide again. That's severe weather at the nighttime of December 22nd, possibly, in Louisiana, blossoming in the morning hours. Again, with this blossoming from nighttime to the morning hours, down here in the Panhandle, this is all three states, Alabama, Mississippi, and Florida, right there where they all come together. Boom. Into the morning of the 23rd, or noon the 23rd, the end of convection the 23rd. And I think that was it for data. Yeah, that was it for data. All right, so let me go ahead and put that loop back into play there. And watch how this thing comes together. Bam. That's going to be a gnarly one. Then it clears up for a little bit. We get into the 14th, into the 15th. Now here we go. The 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th. So from the 16th to the 19th, this whole region is going to be under the gun. All right. And then again here with this, we'll see what happens with this at the very end. But that's the one we're most concerned about for the meantime, is this first storm. All right. Then we got a chance to recover from that. But then watch out, because we have the second one brewing down here, and it just kind of just drives like a wedge right up the East Coast right there. So everybody on that part of the country, get ready for some wild weather. 2 rounds of it too, and possibly a third right here. So important to watch this weather now, especially with this activity on the sun. All right, real quick, we didn't get to the Schumann in the previous report. You can see we had our scraping event going on back here and everything. We came out of it okay, but petered out. You see this weak event right here. Okay, let me just scooch this up a little bit, pull this in a little bit, just so you guys can see a tad bit there. We had a couple of weak spots right here, right here. So we're pumping again. That's good news. But earlier, a few hours ago, well, probably about 6 hours ago, there was a weakening in our magnetic field there. And you can see the Schumann got pretty weak right in there. Okay. Now, if you guys are feeling weird, it's why, because you went from this to all kinds of frequencies bombarding you at high intensity to hardly anything bombarding you. All right, so if you're feeling mood swings up and down and stuff, this is kind of why. All right. All right. Now, over to the volcano report. If I could please have this. No, I don't want your ads. That's the problem with the computer and doing the show and stuff, is all these ads. All the ads pop up just fine, but everything else up only got problems. But their ads sure can pop up. All right, now they're getting into the volcano report for the 8th. Let's just go down here. Mayon in the Philippines, decreased activity at the volcano has been continuing for some time. All right, so that's good. Decreased at Mayon, but it is still glowing red in the center here and active. All right, so it's still active. It's just decreased activity. Luatolo, explosive activity continues there to 6,000 feet. Popo has a volcanic ash advisory still going off. Santiaguito, 13,000. Fuego, Nevada del Ruiz, Sangay to 20,000. Sabancaya to 24,000. All right, and then here's our list for the 7th. We also had Reykjanes, Ibu, there's Luoto, Krakatau still going. The eruptive period at the volcano persists. Volcanic eruptions continue to produce ash and abundant emissions between the altitudes of 5 and 7,000 feet at Krakatau. So Krakatau is still going off. Semeru in East Java to 14,000 feet. Marapi, our latest new one, is still erupting to 15,000 feet. Popo still erupting to 22,000. Santa Guido we covered. Fuego. Nevada del Ruiz to 21,000. Sangay to 20,000. Sabancaya. All right, so we still have a lot of volcanic activity going on. One of them kind of decreasing, but still a lot of them going off. All right, and we still have a lot of pressure underneath. It has relieved some, and we've seen, a little bit of the dying off of some of this pressure. What was the other one I was going to show? Oh, I need to open up the seed site again. I wanted to go take a peek at what we got coming off the sun for tomorrow. Being the 8th, all right, we go back to the 5th and see what's coming off the sun on the 5th. All right. Oh, I see most of you made it back. That's good. I had a decent audience going there until I had to shut things down. And I was worried I wouldn't get any of you back. But look at that. I got some of you guys back. Most of you. All right, so here's our activity on the 5th. This is what would be heading at us on the 8th, right there. All right, so we might get a clip, the edge of this CME right here, right there might get us, all right? So that's inbound energy for the 8th. And then for the 9th would be what happened on the 6th. And we covered this one last night. So inbound energy possibly from, watch down here. Oh, that was the other side I wanted to open up. Okay. That's right. All right, so maybe not so much on the 6th. Okay, which is good. We could use a little break right there. All right. Yeah, the other site is what I wanted to open. All right, so that's energy coming for the 9th, and then I want to check out the energy for the 10th, which would be what came off the sun today, the 7th. Okay, and what came off the sun today, the 7th? That full halo CME and the sigmoid eruption. And that's what I want to try to get to, too, is that sigmoid eruption. And this right here, that's possibly coming our way, too. All right? So we have this, possibly, and then the secondary one right here. All right. Plus we had the sigmoid eruption. And let me see if we can get that side up one more time. Oh, come on, you. Where is it? Nope, it's not that one. Where did it go? Oh, wait. I think we gotta do it this way. Where did it go? Alright, well, we'll just top it. Space weather. .com. Oh, now they changed it. Let me go back real quick to the 8th then. Or to the 7th. Alright, so here was our sigmoid eruption. There we go. Center disk. Right here, this little S shape. Alright, that's coming right. Center disk coming right at us. Alright, so when they say there's nothing inbound coming, I beg to differ. We have the sigmoid eruption, and in that article it said most sigmoid eruptions produce a CME. All right, and we saw the full halo on the other one, so I believe we have an inbound CME coming our direction. All right, from this sigmoid eruption right here. That's on the 7th, due on the 10th. Due on the 10th. Whoops, come here. Stop. Back up to the 10th. Okay, I'm just doing this again to impress upon you how important the 10th is here. Okay. Here's 4 a.m. on the 10th, the morning of the 10th. Now you saw that energy that's coming in. This could change because, it might be the severe weather might be a bigger, broader area, especially if it was earlier in the day. That size area might just shift north or east. And then there's the end of convection. So the whole south of the eastern seaboard right here, at sundown, December 10th. Then, as we go into the nighttime, the northeastern part of the seaboard on December 10th into the morning of the 11th. All right, so that is just going to be gnarly. I really believe it might be more intense than what they're showing, because what they're showing is pretty intense already. You added energy to that, that could be a recipe for disaster, okay? That's why I keep repeating this, because it's of ultimate importance. Our next event that we all have to take cover and be prepared for is that right there, okay? So, and, any kind of earthquake or volcano activity as well. And then later on in the week, this tropical depression type storm that just acts like a freight train and just drives right up the eastern seaboard here, right after they've already been slammed. Okay, so you're back-to-back storms. There will be a little break in between, and I suggest if you weathered the storm and you're gonna do some repairs or whatever after this thing passes. Whoops. Right there, after that passes, there's a couple of days right here from the 12th right through there until we get a little activity brewing here. But then when this thing comes together again, watch out as this thing just drives right up the East Coast like that. And that thing, depending on what comes off the sun, during that time period, could affect that storm as well. Okay, so we saw the sigmoid eruption. That's the one I wanted to show you one more time. All right, so you guys can see that this thing is coming at Earth. All right, and we'll back out of this, and you can see it right there. Let me zoom in on this page a little bit better. Okay, and there's a close-up shot of the sigmoid. All right. Boom. Coming right in our direction, right at our face, all right? In the movie, the S-shaped magnetic field erupts, creating a splash of debris more than 100,000 kilometers wide. Researchers have long known that sigmoid structures in the sun's atmosphere herald strong explosions. The magnetic field lines that comprise them are twisted like slinky. When enough tension builds up, they untwist explosively. Usually sigmoid explosions produce CMEs, all right? Usually sigmoid explosions produce CMEs. This one might have hurled a faint CME towards Earth. We're not sure because multiple CMEs were leaving the sun at the same time of the blast, and there was so much confusion. So don't be surprised if a sigmoid CME delivers a weak but direct blow to Earth's magnetic field on December 9th. They're saying the 9th. It came off of here on the 7th. I think it'll probably arrive more on the 10th. All right? It could be a little faster. It could show up on the 9th. Either one, either the 9th or the 10th is that time frame right back here. Let me back up a little bit. Right when this first storm is blossoming. So this storm is blossoming at the same time we're going to be receiving impact. This storm right here on the 10th. There's the end of the 9th right there, the night of the 9th. So watch out the night of the 9th right through here, because that's when our inbound energy is going to be arriving. This will probably be a little bit bigger the morning of the 10th. Hopefully not. Hopefully it dissipates during the morning, but it still has that potential in the morning hours. It kind of dissipates during the noontime, but then kind of regathers strength through the end of convection there, and especially at night. All right, so that whole time period right there is all that time we're due to be getting hit with inbound energy. All right, so everybody prepare on the East Coast, the Southeast, and the Northeast Coast. All right, and then after this leaves, take advantage of that break, get out, get supplies, get batteries, whatever you're going to need to get. I bet you there's going to be blackouts, a lot of power outages along the eastern seaboard with this storm. Okay, and probably right as they're recovering, this second storm is going to come plowing through there. So during the break, I'd get out, get water, batteries. I even, now beforehand, before these two storms hit back to back, with all the Christmas shopping and the stores being packed and stuff, these people in this region, I would suggest you brace, get ready for a heavy storm, you might lose your power and stuff like that. It's hard to go Christmas shopping when the stores are closed because they don't have power. All right, so back-to-back storms hitting this region right through here, okay? Everybody brace for double impact. And watch your weather closely, because I know the storm chasers are. Follow them a little bit, and they're all gearing up, talking about where they're going to position themselves for that storm right there. Okay? And maybe you go over to them, pick out your favorite storm chaser, and listen to what they're saying as well. Okay, that is the most important part of this show tonight. And we got cut off earlier, or I had to end it earlier. But back over here real quick, 7.1 that went off here, released a lot of energy, still 5 energy creeping up through the system, even got over here to China, even got over here to Saudi Arabia, even got over right down this strip is all 5s. Our three-way junctions have been hit, all right, so activity is kind of picked up a little bit. We did have a little boost in magnitude here, so there's still energy down below that's working its way to the surface. There's still pressure down below, all right? Even though we're in between CMEs and a little break, a little breathing room, it still doesn't mean that volcanic or earthquake and volcanic activity, stops or anything. It continues. Here's the other 5 on the other 3-way junction, all right? So boom, 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 boom. We did the forecast, did all that great stuff. Yeah, we covered the sigmoid. All right, cool. Now we can get on to the spiritual report. If you guys are still want to hang out for that, I know somebody does. They figured it out. Alright, let me get something to drink here. So, let's pull up this image again here. Just real quick, I'm going to play this again. Oops. I need you to tilt your head to the right about 45 degrees, and here's an eye, his other eye, his nose, his mouth, his chin and beard, his hair flowing back like this, and you can make out a crown up here above his head. That crown is hovering over his head. There seems to be almost a little halo around his head too. And once you see that image, then we can zoom in just a little bit tighter. There you go. All right. 2,000-year-old prophecy came true on Easter. I cannot stipulate how important that is. This should be headlines around the world, but it's not. They're all being childish. I can't even go there, but there's our beautiful image of our Lord and Savior showing up like he said he would, even on Easter, to accentuate it. How awesome is that? Let me find my reading that I was going to pull. Did I want to start there? Okay, so let's start here. We got a few people still sticking around. All right, good. Good. I'll take a sip. Okay. I am the Lord of Peace, the only source of genuine peace. I give you this gift not as something separate from myself, but as part of who I am. You cannot just grab this blessing on the run. You need to set aside time for focusing on me and enjoying my presence. You live in the midst of an intense spiritual warfare, and my peace is an essential part of your armor. To stay on your feet during the battles, you must wear sturdy combat boots, the gospel of peace. This good news assures you that I love you and I am for you. Many of my followers forfeit peace because they think I am always scrutinizing them with critical eyes. On the contrary, I gaze at you through eyes of perfect love. Instead of punishing yourself when you failed, remember that my death on the cross covers all of your sins. I love you with unfailing love, simply because you're mine. Rejoice in this gospel peace. It's yours to enjoy at all times and in every way. I want you to learn to be joyful always by connecting your joy to me first and foremost. One way of doing this is to remember that I love you at all times and in all circumstances. Though the mountains be shaken and the hills be removed, my unfailing love for you will not be shaken. So don't give in to the temptation to doubt my love when things don't go as you would like, or when you have failed in some way. My loving presence is the solid rock on which you can always stand, knowing that in me you are eternally secure. I am the Lord who has compassion on you. Another way of increasing your joy is to give thanks in all circumstances. Ask my Spirit to help you view your life through the lens of gratitude. Search for blessings scattered along your pathway, even during your hardest times, and thank me for each one. I encourage you to look steadily through your lens of gratefulness by thinking about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. Problems are a part of life. They are inescapable, woven into the very fabric of this fallen world. You tend to go into problem-solving mode all too readily, acting as if you have the capacity to fix everything. This is a habitual response, so automatic that it bypasses your conscious thinking. Not only does this habit frustrate you, it also distances you from me. So don't let fixing things be your top priority. You are ever so limited in your capacity to correct all that is wrong in the world around you. Don't weigh yourself down with responsibilities that are not your own. Instead, make your relationship with me your primary concern. Talk with me about whatever is on your mind, seeking my perspective on the situation. Rather than trying to fix everything that comes to your attention, ask me to show you what is truly important. Remember that you are en route to heaven and let your problems fade in the light of eternity. Let me infuse my peace into your innermost being as you sit quietly in the light of my presence. You can sense peace growing within you. This is not something that you accomplish through self-discipline and willpower. It is opening yourself to receiving my blessing. In this age of independence, people find it hard to acknowledge their neediness. However, I have taken you along a path that has highlighted your need for me, placing you in situations where your strengths were irrelevant and your weaknesses were glaringly evident. Though the aridity of those desert marches, I have drawn you closer and closer to myself. You have discovered flowers of peace blossoming in the most desolate places. You have learned to thank me for hard times and difficult journeys, trusting that through them I accomplish my best work. You have realized that needing me is the key to knowing me intimately, which is the gift above all gifts. Pretty cool getting to know me intimately. Help. Some kind of miracle going on here. How this happened is quite amazing. And this journey I've been on since this all started has been quite amazing too. And a lot of you have been along with me for it. So you can see how it's progressed and blossomed. And oh, thank you for the thank yous there. Hope everybody enjoyed the reading there tonight and brought you some peace a little bit. This image bring you some peace. You know, the world's going crazy. Everybody's losing their minds and losing their shit. It's important to stay peaceful. You know, I was about to lose my mind and lose my shit a little while ago during the previous stream, so I had to step away, say some prayers, uh, regain composure, and try to come back for my audience and finish this report without letting my emotions get in the way. All right, and that's a true test. That's what we're all being tested on, especially the people in my audience. I'm sure you guys are being tested just similarly like I am in similar ways with your family, you understanding stuff more than they do, trying to explain to them, and they think you're crazy. You see other things going on in the world that are straight out of the Bible, and nobody else sees them because they didn't read the Bible. They don't know it. They don't understand how the Bible works. It's trying to tell you a forecast of what's coming. And there are plenty of warnings and plenty of signs. We've seen signs in the sun. We've seen signs in the moon and stars. We are having wars and rumors of wars. The seas and the waves are roaring. We have earthquakes in diverse places. All the signs that he said you would see when he would return are happening now. Possibly because he's back. I mean, add one and one together, you get two. So all the signs are happening. This happened on Easter 3 years ago. He's been here for a while. Everything since this has been going haywire. He's been here. That's why everything's going down the way it is, because the spiritual realm is real. Jesus is real. He's here right now, walking around in the flesh like last time. I don't know why everybody thinks it would be any different the second time around. The Word made flesh dwelt among men. The same thing when he comes back. He's going to come back as a person. He's a person. It's not just some elusive um, God. He's not some, alien techno wizard God. It's a person. Jesus is a person. He has feelings and emotions and just like you. You're carved out of the same thing. Anyways, just hopefully this image right here brings you guys some peace, some courage, and if you gotta step away sometimes to regain composure, do what you gotta do. I said a few prayers out there and asked him for some composure back. Please give me some peace, Lord. That was going to be the whole premise of tonight's show, was to do it peacefully. And I got pushed and prodded, and it didn't work. So I simply stepped away, stopped, said some prayers. I know they work because I've been delivered time and time and time again. Just recently, I'm going to say it again, this little mountain right here in the foreground here, just recently I was homeless and I was camped out at the base of this mountain. It's where I ended up. And I knew that when I ended up at the base of this mountain camped out, I knew I would be delivered. I knew it because God put me right here. This is where I took this picture. There was no doubt in my mind that I would be delivered. And sure enough, after 40 days and 40 nights out there, I'm back. So it really does work. It really does work when you believe. Your prayers do get answered, probably in ways you don't see, though. Because sometimes it's let me just put it this way. A man prayed for money, and the Lord gave him a job. And he was like, no, 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 no. I was asking for a big stack of money. I didn't want the easy way out. I just wanted the money. And the Lord was like, well, no, I provided you with a job and you'll earn money. It's a good job. It'll be good pay and you'll have that money if you work hard for it. So be careful how you pray. If you got to pray within the will of the Lord. So when you figure out what his will is and you're praying along the same lines, those prayers get answered. And when you see those answered prayers, recognize them and go, whoa, that was you. I see it now. You did that. It wasn't me. It was you who did that. Thank you. And the moment you thank him, you recognize a miracle that he performed in your life, you recognize it and you thank him and give him credit for performing it and thank him, then more happen. Then it starts going even faster and faster. And you start to get better and better at your praying, and your believing becomes knowing to a level that there will be no doubt in your mind. You will have your own testimonies, your own deliverance as a testimony that, that it's real. The more you believe, the more you get rewarded, the more you receive. So, it's a sacrifice you made. You recognize what he did for us. It's a miracle what he did for us. And if you recognize that and thank him, he'll give more blessings to you. It's pretty simple. He's a very simple kind of guy. Everybody tries to make it so complex and so ideological when it's very, very basic. It's all about love. Love each other. Take care of each other. You're all brothers and sisters. Start taking care of each other instead of robbing each other and cutting on each other and beating each other up. Violence just leads to more violence. An eye for an eye just leaves the world blind. And we got a blind enough world as it is. We need to get love out there and start killing them with kindness. That's how you earn a crown up there in heaven, is by killing them with kindness. Even your enemy. Because when you kill your enemy with kindness, all of a sudden he likes you and he's not your enemy anymore. Problem solved. If you guys are nice to each other, you end up liking each other and become friends instead of enemies. That's why love is the key. There would be no war. There would be no famine and strife if we all just took care of each other and loved each other and believed in our Savior. He's our King. He's real. He's here. He wants to make contact with you and love you and show you all the miracles that are possible in your life that you had no clue about. All right, so get out there, keep praying, and look for your answers. Don't just pray and then expect it, not to unfold. Expect it to unfold and look for it. And when it does unfold, then thank Him, and you'll start getting more and more. All right, I want to thank some people for being here tonight. Civilian Warrior, Michelle, um, Vision Christ, Jimmy Satterfield, Michelle Cameron, Z Square. That's a new one. Welcome. I see a few new people here. Welcome, my new people. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you're seeing this image. Z Square, Warrior, all right. Jen was here. Whitetail 7. Sweetie, I never thank you enough. You're one of my mods, and you've been here for a long time, so thank you too, Whitetail 7. You're always here and always leaving nice comments and stuff. Okay, 5x5. Just kind of wanted to say thank you to everybody who showed up and came back for the second part of this stream. Yeah, the East Coast. Everybody hold on tight out there. If you live out that way and those storms are heading in your direction, now would be a good time to go get supplies and get ready for possibly losing power, flash flooding. What's your backup plan going to be? Stuff like that, just in case, okay? Because that's going to be a gnarly storm moving through there. Also, we have inbound energy that will affect the weather. It will probably also affect the earthquakes and the volcanoes that day too, okay? Or maybe the day later, after the energy hits the sun or hits the earth, absorbs, and then starts to reverberate back up towards the surface again. Maybe a day later, we'll probably see some more magnitude 7 quakes, possibly. Okay, more activity out of that new region, more activity out of this new region right here, possibly more activity out of this area, even this spot in China. So the next round of impulse from the sun is going to cause some more activity through this region, and we could possibly see another 7 magnitude when that hits, absorbs, and then starts to swell from underneath. That fissure I was trying to show you earlier was on Mr. MBB's channel. Go over and look at that fissure. That is like a crack in the surface from the expanding underneath. It's like stretching the skin of the planet and cracking it. And that's why I wanted to show you that fissure, because I expect to see more fissuring happening when this bulge from underneath rises up again. In a couple of days here, once we absorb some energy from the sun, we're going to have the same little scenario play out that we saw last time, okay? Probably not as powerful. We'll see how much, inbound energy we get. But the battery, the capacitor that the planet is so packed full of energy that we can't take on too much more. It's right at that verge, right at that edge right there, that any more activity now absorbed into the planet is going to result pretty definitely and pretty quickly, within like a day or two later. Okay, so wild weather. Then, as this next event hits us on the 10th, watch out after the 10th for a pickup in earthquake activity, a pickup in magnitude, and a pickup in volcanic activity as well. All right, so I think that covers it for tonight. It was very important about that weather. You guys watch that closely. That's our next main event to watch carefully. All right, and I pray that there's no tornadoes that spin off of that. I mean, it'd be terrible to lose your house and everything right before the holidays, So let's pray for all those people in that area. Pray that the impact is not as bad, that maybe the energy from the sun will just give us a glancing blow and won't intensify these storms any more than they already are. All right. So everybody keep praying for that, and pray for each other. Pray for endurance for each other. Um, I like to pray for a hedge of protection every time I go out of the house and go out into public, because you've been seeing what's been going on in the news. It's kind of sketchy going out into public now anymore, depending on where you live. So have your head on a swivel. Be aware of your weather, your earthquakes, your volcanoes nearby you, anything like that. Watch your crowds too, because the stuff here on the Schumann makes people's moods weird. Okay, both of these. When there's nothing, and then when there's too much. All right, so violent mood swings. When that happens and you're having violent mood swings, go take a minute to go pray. Ask the Lord, please help me. My moods are swinging so bad. I need some peace, and I still struggle with it. I used to be fine. I had patience for years, and now it's like, what? 30 seconds? I'm growing impatient now. And I think it's because of the society that we live in is so demanding and instant gratification out of everything, that it's like if something takes longer than 5 to 10 seconds, who starts to get frustrated. And I find myself a victim of that too, and that's Satan working. So you got to fight against that, all right? Maybe you're not perfect every time. That's okay, as long as you're just trying to fight against it and trying to regain composure. All right, I think that's it for tonight. I love you all. I miss you all. God bless you all. And until my next show, I'll be back. I am back. Can't you tell?